Hi everyone. So it is Monday 13th. I will be posting this later today. Bear with me on this video. I need to try my best to take it slow and get all the information that I need to get to deliver to you guys. So I have a pre-recorded video coming out on Wednesday, and that's what I recorded last week. So it's the part 2 of last week's video. And then I had the pick a card reading that came out on Saturday, and they're connecting all of these videos, and they're saying that if you were drawn to the pick a card reading, they want to make a clarification from that video. So group 1 feels like a very grounded, strong group, and their trajectory is towards something they feel destined to happen for them. They either perceived it, they had a vision of it, or it's something inherently that they believe in or feel drawn to, even if it doesn't really have all the detailed components to it, and that's happening. Group 3 feels like a very spiritual pile, very like they're helpers. Their career base is probably geared towards things that are towards the community, again, helping people. They're the empaths and sensitives, and these people, this group 3, is actually moving into something that is a complete surprise. They're blindsided by what they're moving into. Okay, they did not see this coming at all, but it's similar trajectory, same trajectory, not even similar, same trajectory, different paths. Okay, so group 2, what it feels like is the developing pile. The developing pile is moving into the majority, group 3, and then a smaller portion moving into group 1. So there's that. And then they're saying, talk about the buzzing feeling I get when I get the intense communication. They're pointing out 2 and then a third to the side. And so I have God calling, which I need to reference. I'm being called to reference this momentarily. But when I first introduced you guys to that devotional, I kept getting that buzzing feeling. It was very hard to concentrate. It was hard for me to stay grounded. It was difficult for me to talk, and I could feel the energy coming in. I could feel the signs. I could feel some sort of communication, and then the red-tailed hawk had shown up. Then the other situation that they're talking about is the dog that I mentioned, the little doggy who was having seizures. His name also started with an S, and prior to this happening, I kept getting stuck on the letter S. Like I kept stuttering the letter S, and then when I would write, I would keep writing S's, and then it would draw me directly to the dog. And so I knew there was something being communicated to me. The third detail, or the third situation that they're talking about, is a situation that I actually picked up on for another individual, where I had done a reading for them, and it was a really extensive reading. And then the next day I felt them very clearly, getting all of the signs, and it was like this intense buzzing. It was already, you know, communicated and all that, so I was not incorrect about that. But they're showing me these different things, and they're saying a couple things. They're saying to note how we are all waves, like wavelengths. Nature is a wave, a bunch of different waves. And how I'm hearing the song Capsized, so I'll put the song down below. but you're being capsized by this powerful energy. It is unavoidable, undeniable. So you can even compare it like to the individual I did a reading on, where, you know, it's simple, seemingly simple things like repeating numbers, or, you know, like just a phrase, things like that, that, you know, maybe you take as signs, but it's like validated so strongly that it sends yourself into a, like this buzzing feeling, ungrounded buzzing feeling, because it just pulls you out. It ungrounds you, capsizes you into this powerful wave. This is a good thing. This is a powerful, positive force that is communicating very profoundly for you. This is something that's going to happen very soon. When I look towards February, they pull me back in. So it's going to happen before February. This might have already very recently happened to you, but they're showing me that this would have happened within like the past week and a half kind of thing, if it happened. So look forward to that. There's something very powerful occurring, some powerful communication occurring. And then they bring me to my Wednesday's video. So there could be some sort of connection to that, to what I'm talking about. So there's that, but then they're branching me off, and they're saying that there's also like a physical kind of communication occurring for some of you guys, where it feels like a soulmate kind of thing, like someone very spiritually connected to you, and in a physical communication, or physical relation is being highlighted here. And then I saw, this is a specific message for someone, but I saw like a gold bracelet, or like a silvery gold or white gold, or some sort of like a bracelet. Okay, so there's that. And then they're kind of like forewarning me of the trajectory that I'm going with this video, where I'm sharing some things and it's like, these are the examples of how it's going to be or how it's going to feel, and to just kind of go with it and try and figure it out what they're trying to say, because I guess the vocabulary, the translation is going to be kind of, I don't know, interesting, I guess. And so we're moving into a time in the next decade and the decade after, so the next 2 decades, where it's going to be very tumultuous, very rocky, a lot of highs and lows for the majority of people, and a lot of shifts. I'm seeing a lot of shifts, okay, a lot of movement. It feels like physical and spiritual movement, but it's like the earth shifting. There's something about like a lot of physical movement, and they're saying, look at like life happens as a blip, you know, history happens like a blip. When you look in the past and you see like falls empires and falls of this and that, or the rises of things, it goes in occurrence of like hundreds, sometimes thousands, and so on and so forth, right? And so when you kind of look at it, that doesn't really look like a snap. But when you look at the way that we've progressed recently, fairly recently, since you know, since the 1900s, you know, the invention of all of this, what is the age of, who cares? I mean, we should care. I can't just go with it. You know what I'm saying? So, it is happening very fast. So when you look at like 10 years ago, right, a decade prior, we're drastically different from then, right? Pretty much. Look at 20 years ago. So you can rightfully assume, right, or logically assume that the next 10 to 20 years are going to look drastically different, but they're saying this is so different in a way that we have not seen in recorded history. I heard eons, and then I'm hearing eons, but I'm seeing millennia. So I don't know if that's more of just like, I don't know, maybe that's what I'm saying. So they want to highlight recorded history because I don't know if this is really what they're saying, is that it's technically it's not recorded, but this is something that has occurred prior to what is kind of historically referenced. But I'm seeing a fall, like a drop off, okay, that's going to happen. It's like a drop off, and I feel a sinking feeling, and I feel my past. They're showing me my past, okay, and like my recent past too, and sometimes my current, where it's I become ungrounded in a bad way, where I feel that resistance, the resistance to fathoming something, the resistance to self, the resistance to spirit. Like it's like the denial, because it's so logically, I don't want to, it's a way to keep myself safe, right? So I don't really want to think about it. And so that they're showing me it as this, where they're saying, be wary of the temptation to resist reality, real reality, because this is your safeguard against future temptations, spiritually speaking, that are going to occur. So as you practice now, and then they're referencing my pick a card reading that I mentioned in group 3, where this is a general message for everyone, that the more that you practice your intuitive, divine right, your divine right to be intuitive, to practice intuition, to feel into intuition, the more that you're going to be able to safeguard yourself and potentially others. Keyword reciprocity, because that is you giving to others and providing that example, a leadership position, right, as an example of what is okay and safe to do, so that others can feel comfortable in doing this as we move into this particular scenarios that are going to challenge our very beliefs. And it's not only doing that, but it's causing chaos. And I feel it underneath my skin, something happening underneath my skin. It feels like not just a spiritual attack, not just like a hypnotic attack. The way I'm seeing, why I'm saying hypnotic attack is because I'm looking at everything, and it's just, I'm being inundated. I can compare this because I'm kind of seeing it, but I'm seeing this in the real world too, of like ads, movies, like just constant brainwashing. But I'm looking into like space, like not space, but like into my space, my surroundings, and I'm getting inundated with this. Like it's going through my eyes and registering something into my brain. So it's as if they're like color coding things, changing something in our physical environment that is going to put into our physical system some sort of physiological response to it. And so be wary of this, because the more that you tune into self, to spirit, and strengthen your connection to spirit, the more that you're able to discern between what is happening physiologically and what is happening spiritually, and so on and so forth, right? It's kind of like, becoming aware that you're eating unhealthy foods, finding the source of a healthy food, then really realizing the difference in how you feel when you were unhealthy, because you didn't know these ailments. Oh, I didn't realize I was like tired. I didn't realize I was, you know, cranky. I thought this was just how I was, you know. So now that you are more in a healthy state of being, then the second that you start consuming that, you know, bad food, you start noticing, hold on, this doesn't feel right. I can feel these changes within me. I'm not going to do it. You know, that's not what's for me, right? And then now you can consume something. This is an example, right? But you can consume something that looks like it's potentially healthy. You can start feeling those feelings and say, you know what? I'm not being deceived by that. I know that's not really, you know, I don't know, a piece of leaf lettuce. That's a cake. Cakes are good. Some cakes, okay? But anyway, I mean, I guess not really. I guess they're not. I don't know why I said that. I mean, they taste good. Okay. So anyway, and they're really pointing out, like, it is a matter of picking a side. You're either for God, you're against God. And being against God is being for man. And, you know, without God, there is just evil. And so it's like God is in everything, right? God is in everything. But when evil exists because of the absence of God, in the sense of the ignorance of God, the ignoring of God. Not that God doesn't exist. God granted us the free will to pursue what it is we felt we desire to pursue. And in our ignorance, we have become more man. And in thus doing so, then we can rise again into spirit, right? Into that divine connection with spirit through our soulmate. But anyway, I digress. So they're giving examples. Okay, so like, I don't really want to get into the details. The details really don't matter, I don't think. But basically, like for me, there's like this homeless, like there's sparse homeless population here. And at least like in this area. And so there was a homeless population, whatever. I found out about it, and logically I could have looked at it and like not thinking much about it, or I could have just like helped him out, again, not really thinking much about it. But I felt called, like immediately felt called to ask God and to like state it out, like, God, why are you bringing this information to me? Like, what is it that I'm supposed to do? What are we supposed to do here? And that's so unusual for me, just because, again, very logical. Like, I have no problem helping others. It's just, it stood out to me that I knew that I was supposed to ask God. And in doing that, then things just started coming in that were very specific to this specific homeless individual. And so try to help them out, kind of thing. They're showing this as an example because they're saying that that's an example they want to show you of how it's applicable into the real world, in the sense that don't practice not overthinking it. Obviously you want to be grounded. Obviously it's a fine line between being delusional and being grounded. And you know, some people don't have a problem like falling into the pits of delusion, but they're saying you don't want to do that. You want to strengthen your connection with God. You're strengthening your connection with spirit, the Holy Spirit, so that you know when they're communicating with you, you know when to reframe it's like, that's how I'm grounding and refocusing, because I'm like asking God, like, work through me, like, what are you showing me here, like, what's going on here, right? And then applying it is not necessarily what happens after, it's that practice in it. And then, you know, everything else that kind of trickles from that is like its own thing. But this needs to, you need to start practicing or continuing. Really, it's most of you, it's continuing to practice this and to just note. They're denoting like, this is what's happening. This is why this is happening, because you're the future leaders. You are a leader, but you're a future leader. When this stuff happens and comes around, where it's gonna be, it's like, I feel like people are feeling like zombies, like, I don't know, or like robots, like the merged with robots, but it's like beneath the skin, and it's like right beneath the skin, right beneath, and it feels like thin beneath the skin, like tiny. And they're showing this under my laptop. Hold on. They're showing this. These are stamps. It's magnified, the word magnified. So as you do this, as we operate on these waves, this is synchronistic with the thing underneath the skin. The thing underneath the skin is like microscopic or something, or smaller than that. Like, it's like you have to magnify to see it. But what you're doing is, it feels like a shattering of it. So you cannot necessarily pinpoint or see what is beneath the surface of what you're doing. But you see how it takes on these different shapes. It's like I heard genetic imprint, whether this is like literally your genetic imprint or your spiritual genetic DNA, is leaving these little marks, little imprints embedded within others' spiritual. It's like you're leaving. It looks really like, kind of like, which one's this? Forever, I said Forever USA arranged diatoms. That one. Okay, that's really what I'm kind of seeing. But this is like, is that, and then this moth wing scales, like, it's very colorful feeling, like that. It's a colorful feeling, but like kind of like a snowflake, because I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I think maybe they're just showing as examples of like this colorful snowflake that you see. Like, you see snow, like a blanket of snow. It just looks like a white blanket of snow, but then when you actually zoom into the snowflake, they're all individually like unique and like complex. And so it's that feeling of you like dropping snowflakes on people, you dropping snowflakes on them, like spiritually with what you do. And that's counteracting, you're the antidote. And then they're giving me an example of like, okay, so another example that you can do is like, okay, what if you just have this wild hair up your butt where you're like, I want to grow 20,000 roses. I've never grown roses before, whatever. I'm just gonna do it because I inherently feel God told me to do this. Crazy, I know. And then you do it, and then 15 years from now, whatever, there's something that just happens where those rose hips are anti-inflammatory, and that is the antidote for so many people. So it makes sense later. You know, so I'm saying two different things because it feels like, it just feels very vast in what you're doing. It's like some things you just keep going with it, and then there are main points, like the rose bush example, where it will make sense. Now they're saying what is to come is something so different. It's so different. Like, they're bringing me back to, I don't know if it's the unreleased, it's probably mixed with the unreleased, and then the released videos of Elon Musk, and then the released videos where I was like scribbling and drawing, and I was saying things that I was perceiving to happen, and I did name dates and stuff like that. And so it's probably has to do with that, and it's just coming to fruition, or something like that. And so they're saying, like, they want me to tune into something here. They want me to tune into so 2 examples. So I talked about Instagram, and how I had this vision of Instagram, and that wasn't around at the time. It was like only Facebook, MySpace, stuff like that. Facebook was still new, and I can kind of like grasp it, like I can kind of see it, but it didn't really make sense. And so the trajectory, it doesn't necessarily feel like, it's like everything's kind of destined, okay? Everything's destined to a degree. But as it gets closer, especially when it comes in the collective agreements, you know, like what we're kind of collectively perceiving, then things get more solidified, right? And then they're bringing me back to one of the readings I did, the Trisha Paytas, like, she sealed her fate. It's like, once you make certain decisions, once you get so close, it's the timeline for it to deviate is either gone or like very, 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 very small. And it's that same concept of perceiving reincarnation over and over and over again, not being able to ascend because energetically you're so low, because you're connecting so much to the devil, where the devil is tricking you into lowering your vibration so much that you're perceiving this reality. You can't ascend past and see, you know, a bigger perspective and be more open-minded and being more at peace and so on and so forth, because you're too tied into the devil. You have to rise up from that. And so they're showing this as like the window of things changing is getting so small, so small, nearly, seemingly, potentially impossible to avoid. But what you can do to counterattack is your countermeasure is to ascend, to rise up as an individual. And in doing so, you are doing a service to others because you're starting it now. You need to start it now. I know most of you already are, but it's more of like validating, like, hey, you're doing it. Keep doing it. We know you are, kind of thing. Then they're showing me like, okay, so with like cryptocurrency, this was obviously back in the day. This is when it was still used for underground stuff. It was like less than $5. It was like probably less than $5. Not probably, it was like a couple bucks, if that. And I was spiritually tipped off that this was going to be something. And as I kept seeking out ways to invest and collect some of these things, I kept being told not to do it. And I could discern at the time, I was not like as focused as I was now to what was happening. I was still very much in denial to like a big degree, but I could feel the energetic difference. And so the lower energies were like, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. The higher energies were saying, do not do it. And I didn't for a while. It probably got up to like $20 or something, like maybe, I don't know. And I went against it and I invested. And I quickly got out of it because I could feel like I was going down a really wrong path, a bad path. And so I was denying, you know, what I was not being obedient. So I pulled out of it. I mean, I don't know why they didn't want me to tell you all of the, but I invested into some other like stocks and they ended up doing really well. I don't have the money anymore. I already spent it. I already took it out the stocks. I spent the money. Okay, it's gone. And even after that, you know, this is now the main players started coming up, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, all this stuff. And I was like, really like it, I'm like, I know where it's going. Like, I know, I already heard it. Like and so I did it again. And then I took myself out immediately. And so, I've never touched it again since then. Clean off of the coins, okay? And I'm not doing it. So they're, I guess, using me as an example because they're like, we, like everyone who's doing that, who's watching this, and others who aren't, we're gonna be moving into some sort of like major spiritual awareness and battle, and like just like some intensifying thing happening, something super intense. I don't know, and it's super intense and not quite, is the concept is there, but it hasn't fully come into fruition. And you're gonna hear a lot of the lower temptations, and because of you practicing this reciprocity with spirit, the Holy Spirit, and not the lower levels, the devil, then you are going to be more ready and armored that when this temptation comes through, you will know, and you will not be tempted like I was to take that route. Because in truth, I really would have gone down a super dark path. Not just, you see what happened to these people, you know, some of the big people in this, and that's just from that. You think about all the other everyday things that could be going on, the immature mindset and all of that. And I definitely would not be doing this. I'd be like, don't care. So, it's a valuable lesson to me that obviously that's not important, you know, and like I'm obviously being provided for. That would be pure greed. It would be pure greed. And so I said pure greed, but it did sound like purgatory. Purgatory. So anyway, there's something that's going to be coming up, and I'm seeing the number 8. So but the 8 feels close. I mean, it's going to be 2024 soon. So I don't know if it's 2028 or it's like 8 months from now, which seems like really soon. So I don't know, but, or I don't know what, maybe that's a symbol for something. Basically, like, don't take the bait, don't be tempted. And the more that you're in this practice of God, show me, God this, God that, you know, or spirit, Holy Spirit, you know, whatever, the Most High, you know, when you stay spiritually attuned to those realms, you will not be persuaded, okay? Because this is not, it doesn't feel like it's coming in a trickster kind of form, like whatever this is that I'm specifically referencing, it doesn't feel like it's coming in a trickster form in that way where it's like you have no, like you're so blindsided, yada, yada, yada. It's like literally so tempting for some reason that people can go astray. I do see like some people going astray, like, that's what I see. And so do not be tempted. Begin your spiritual training or continue your spiritual strength training, and Don't allow yourself to go down that path. Don't do it. You will be terribly misguided and go in the totally wrong direction, and you will be miserable. So I'm saying you will be absolutely miserable if you take the bait. And this is something that, and then I'm seeing a 7 now. So don't take the bait. And then I'm seeing a 6. Yeah, I don't know if it's counting down. I was actually going to say that earlier, and I was like, I don't think I'm seeing it count down, but then as I'm talking, it's like it's showing me numbers going down. So, but it doesn't, it's like, I think it's years then. I don't know, because it only goes to 4. I don't know. Okay. So with a God calling, I feel, okay. I feel called to like read some other dates, but there's something in here. Okay, so like every once in a while I kind of get behind on reading it, like a couple days behind, right? I did it in July, I did it last month, and so usually when I'm traveling or whatever, and then I don't take it with me or anything or take pictures. So anyway, so I recorded the videos, and I thought, okay, well, let me catch up on my God calling. And you will see in Wednesday's video that I specifically said something that is synchronistic. It's not, it's literally same message. I'm same but different. I'm saying the same words. Okay, you'll see in Wednesday, but I feel called to read this to you because obviously it's a big message. So if you want to screenshot it and read it later, and we have November 8th here as well. So let me just read November 7th out loud. Self kills power. Dwelling with me, desiring only my will and to do my work, my spirit cannot fail to pass through the channel of your life and into the lives of others. Many think it is humility to say they do little and are of little value to my world. To think that is pride. What if the pipe were to say, I do so little, I wish I could be of more use? The reply would be, it's not you, but the water that passes through you that saves and blesses. All you have to do is to see that there is nothing to block the way so that the water cannot flow through. The only block there can be in your channel is self. Keep that out and know that my spirit is flowing through. Therefore, all must be better for coming in contact with both of you because you are channels. See this and you will think it natural to know they are being helped, not by you, but by my spirit flowing through you as a channel. So to kind of just, I'm hearing like tying into and then like tightening what I'm saying is basically with like the reciprocity and everything is and tying your mind into what is happening and what's occurring is saying, you know, God, what is it? And then God working through me. God work through me, guide me, show me. And taking your ego, taking your pride, taking yourself out of it, and also saying, you know, am I enough? Am I enough? Of course. God's working through you. As a human, you know, and human devoid, again, of God is weak. And so, allow yourself to be a strong warrior of God, so on and so forth. Okay, so then I'm hearing November 11th, and then I'm hearing the day after I post Wednesday. So let me just, this is getting in my way. Okay, so if you want to screenshot and read any of these. So November 11th, heaven's colors. Looking back, you will see that every step was planned. Leave all to me. Each stone in the mosaic fits in the perfect pattern designed by the master artist. It is so wonderful. The colors are of heaven's hues so that your eyes cannot bear to gaze on the whole until you're beyond the veil. So stone by stone you see and trust the pattern to the designer. And then the 15th is when I'm going to be posting it. It feels important, but they're really, they show it, like they kind of circle it, and then they move like an arrow and then really highlight and circle the 16th. So if you want to read the 15th, it is here for you to read if you want to take a screenshot. Let me just go ahead and read it really quick in case you need to hear it and not read it. Okay, so November 15th is By My Spirit. So that's yesterday's, I mean, not yesterday. I'm seeing myself posting this on Thursday, but it's Monday. So Wednesday, it's By My Spirit. Why am I saying this? Is because the video that's coming out Wednesday is this, connected to this. So, I mean, it is, but then they're showing me 14th and 15th are connected to Wednesday's video. Let me just read that too. Devious Ways, November 14th. Life is not easy, my children. Man has made of it not what my Father has meant it to be. Ways that were meant to be straight paths have been made by man into ways of devious and evil, filled with obstacles and stones of difficulty. They're talking about homeless and that oh, I didn't read today's. Okay, let me read 13th too, because it's today anyway and I'm posting this. Every problem solved. Man has such strange ideas of the meaning of my invitation, come unto me. Too often has it been interpreted as an urge to pay a duty owed to a creator or a debt owed to a savior. The come unto me holds in it a wealth of meaning far surpassing even that. Come unto me for the solution of every problem, for the calming of every fear, for all you need, physical, mental, spiritual. Sick, come to me for health. Homeless, ask me for a home. Friendless, claim a friend. Hopeless, a refuge. Come unto me for everything. And I do want to note, they just reminded me of this, is the practice of this reciprocity and the humbleness, like the humble nature of asking God to work through you and the signs and what you're showing me, so on and so forth, is also a movement of sincerity. It's not coming from ego or an insincere place. So as you practice this, you're being aware when things are insincere or forced. This is not a forced thing, right? And so it's kind of that drawing in these instances. I also heard miracles. So you're drawing in miracles, you're drawing in communication, you're drawing in these instances in which God is able to work through you in, I heard like very intense, and then I also saw side note as mystified. So I think you're gonna also kind of ramp up this like mystique about you. As you do this, you're starting to garner some sort of reputation as having some sort of mystique type of vibe. So there's that. Okay, so November 15th, and then we'll do 16th. By my spirit. Man is apt to think that once in time only was my miracle working power in action. That is not so. Wherever man trusts wholly in me and leaves to me the choosing of the very day and hour, then there is my miracle working power as manifest, as marvelously manifest today as ever it was when I was on earth, as ever it was to set my apostles free, or to work miracles of wonder and healing through them. Trust in me. Have a boundless faith in me, and you will see, and seeing will give me all the glory. Remember and say often to yourselves, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Dwell much in the thought upon all I accomplished on earth, and then say to yourselves, He, our Lord, our friend, could accomplish this now in our lives. Apply these miracles to your present day, and know that your help and salvation are sure. Okay, the 16th, union is power. Emphasis, this is a very powerful message for someone out here, someone's. Where two or three are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. Claim that promise always. Know it is true that when two of my lovers meet, I am the third. Never limit that promise. When you two are together in my name, united by one bond in my spirit, I am there. not only when you meet to greet me and to hear my voice. Think what this means in power. It is again the lesson of the power that follows, two united to serve me. Amen. I actually just got this message, so we're gonna do one more and I'm literally done because I don't see a message after this. They told me to go to December 22. So here is, if you want to read any of the other ones. So let me read December 22. Practice protection. Fear no evil, because I have conquered evil. It has power to hurt only those who do not place themselves under my protection. This is not a question of feeling, it is an assured fact. All you have to do is to say with assurance that whatever it is cannot harm you, as I have conquered it. Children, in not only the big but the little things of life, be sure of my conquering power. Know that all is well, be sure of it. Practice this. Learn it until it is unfailing and instinctive within you. But practice it is in, but practice it in the quite small things, and then you will find you will do it easily, naturally, lovingly, trustingly in the big things in life. Which I think tie pretty well into, they tie really good into what I was saying, because in that strength and that armor, it is obviously protection. Okay. Bye. I just remembered I'm making sun-dried tomatoes, so I should probably go check on that. Bye.